Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. It sometimes seems like there's a new technology being introduced every day. There are new devices, new apps, and new uses for just about everything. Technology is everywhere. Our children depend on it for their education, social interactions, and entertainment. As parents, we're constantly trying to find that balance of allowing kids to stay socially connected and current with technology, while also making sure they're not overusing it or engaging in risky behavior. It can be very difficult to find the right balance when your child constantly wants to engage in things like gaming and social media. Since most of us didn't grow up with this technology, it can be hard to see eye to eye with the next generation. As with many things, education is key. The UVM Extension 4-H program teaches new technologies to young people in a responsible, positive, hands-on way. Recently, Across the Fence visited a 4-H program that teaches one of the newest technologies.
Well, we've got a group of kids that are taking part in a 4-H UAS exploration program. Most people know a UAS as a drone. We started out having them do an overview of the uses of drones, and we reviewed some of the rules and regulations. The FAA is constantly coming back and making changes and modifications because this is all new, that the public can access these units and use them. And then they worked on the simulators the first day. The second day of the program, we looked at some real data that had been collected by the Spatial Analysis Lab that's based here at the University of Vermont. And they did some calculations using computer programming. Right now, behind me, they are working on with a simulator, a flight simulator, and getting the feel of how the switches interact with a virtual drone. Earlier, though, they had a chance to fly a real drone, and that was really cool for them. And then they had a little test, go from one platform to another.
Why is it important to introduce this technology to kids this age?
Well, they're excited about it, and this generation is going to be doing a lot with these UAS units. There are a lot of applications, agriculture, bridge inspections, rescue missions, and so it's important for young people to find out about all these uses and to come up with new ideas, how to use the technology to do good.
Some people think of using drones as playing with toys, but in this program, this is a science tool. You're teaching science here. How does it work?
It can be something that people enjoy just for a hobby, and one of the things they saw on the first day was there's actually something called drone racing or UAS racing. But yes, for me, I look at it as a way of getting kids excited about science and technology, and so that they're going to be able to maybe go into these fields. They've learned a little bit about what you have to do to become somebody that works, say, at the Spatial Analysis Lab, and they've seen some real-world applications that are helpful to society.
Down, rotating right, left, and then moving forward, back, left, right. You want to press take off.
What do you want the youth who are participating in this program to take away from it?
Well, I'd like them to tell their friends about it. We'd like to run it again. We're going to get some feedback from them to see what they thought was really useful. And we'd like them to, again, in this informal setting, be excited about science and technology. Take that with them and think about careers.
Oh, stuck landing. Nice job.
You can learn more about the wide range of educational opportunities in the UVM Extension 4-H program by calling the toll-free number on your screen. It's 1-800-571-0668. That's 800-571-0668. You can also find out more by visiting the Extension website and clicking on 4-H. A few summers ago, we learned about the farm-to-school programs and activities that occur in many communities around the state. The Green Mountain Farm-to-School program is headquartered in Newport, but as Rebecca Gollin found out, it has a unique way of expanding its reach throughout the northern Vermont.
It's harvest time in northern Vermont, and things at the Garden of Eurbin farm in Barton couldn't be much better.
We're not quite the Garden of Eden here.
Travis Eurbin and his wife Katherine have been farming for 4 years and running their farm as a business for 2.
We put a cooler in this year, a 10 by 12 walk-in cooler, so the produce is a lot fresher when it does get to a destination.
The Eurbins are finding their niche in the community and growing their business at a rate they can handle. For the moment, they both have jobs off the farm.
I didn't grow up a farmer. I've been building and remodeling my whole life. And my wife's actually a physical therapist. So we kind of fell into this just because we love doing it. And you know, we want to make sure that we do it right.
This is basically all Garden of Eurbin salsa. It's his tomatoes, this is cilantro, some onion.
Not far from the Eurbin's farm, Megan Stotko is preparing food for an upcoming farmer's market.
It'll be chicken with fresh salsa and cheese with some just cabbage on the top for texture.
Using local ingredients, Stotko will produce several options for her customers. That her kitchen is a bit small is no problem for Stotko. She's used to that. The Lunchbox is like any restaurant, with a couple of key differences.
On a typical day, I usually come here early in the morning around 8. I load the truck up with fresh water, make sure we have enough propane, kind of check the vitals for the truck to make sure that the equipment is working.
Besides the fact that it's on wheels, the biggest difference between the Lunchbox and most other restaurants is that at the Lunchbox, they give the food away.
We know that summer can be a really hungry time for many in our community.
Katherine Sims is the executive director of Green Mountain Farm to School, the organization that operates the Lunchbox. She spearheaded the effort to create the program, from getting it funded to finding a vehicle to retrofit. The truck itself is multi-purpose. It's a commercial kitchen and traveling farmer's market. It's also a place where kids can come and get a free meal during the summer.
We're able to offer free meals for kids 18 and under that feature all local food, so it's returning dollars back to our farmers and making sure that kids aren't going hungry.
You could hide anything in a tortilla.
The food at the Lunchbox isn't just for kids. Anyone can buy a taco from the truck, as well as the produce used to make it.
We didn't want to just be a restaurant. That's not really the entirety of the mission. The mission is also to say, okay, this is great food. This came from your neighbor's farm. Here are the raw ingredients sitting on this table that we use to prepare this food. Like, I will be selling this very cabbage that's in the tacos tonight at the farmer's market.
That cabbage was grown at the Garden of Eurbin.
We really love working with them. They work hard to try and help us to move produce. They come and pick it up. They've done a lot of footwork to get people to buy it from us so that we don't have to do that anymore. We've gone and had forums and classes that they've helped set up through UVM Extension. And that's why we got our wash station set up here. We've got a triple wash station for all our lettuce and greens.
This is the second season that Eurbin has been working with Green Mountain Farm to School, as well as another program run by Sims called Green Mountain Farm Direct, which focuses on distribution. The connection was made in typical Vermont fashion.
I weatherized Katherine Sims' home when she built a new home a couple of years ago. And right afterwards, I was talking about the farm to my representative at Pool and Lumber. And he said, oh, you should talk to Katherine Sims about this thing because she's doing, you know, this great vegetable program with schools and such. And I said, Katherine Sims, I think I know that name.
Megan Stotko tells a similar story.
One day I was at an antique fair and I ran into Katherine Sims and she said, have you checked your email lately? And I said, no. I was living without electricity at the time. And she said, well, I just sent you a job description.
Now Stotko and the Lunchbox travel daily throughout the summer to communities in Orleans and Essex counties.
The Lunchbox has been visiting sites across northern Vermont every week, pulling up in our truck with fresh and prepared foods at senior meal sites, low-income housing sites, community centers, bringing food to where people are already gathering and showing them how to cook it and making it affordable.
In addition to the Lunchbox, Sims and her team are working on a number of projects and initiatives to bring new food options to some of the underserved communities in the area, what are known as food deserts. Those projects include working with schools to establish gardens and providing education on growing and preparing produce. They also help farmers with promotion and distribution to local markets and institutions.
In the Northeast Kingdom region, one of the biggest challenges is people's access to marketplaces or access to markets that have fresh local food.
Linda Merlin is the director of the University of Vermont's Center for Sustainable Agriculture. She's looked extensively at the food systems around Vermont and says that ideas such as the Lunchbox can begin to address some of the issues that can crop up in food deserts.
A mobile market, while that seems like maybe a small answer to something, it really does address a significant challenge that exists in that region, because it's not only that there's this, dispersed population, and it's not just that it's in a depressed economy, and it's not just that there aren't a lot of stores there, it's also that there aren't a lot of distributors going to the few stores that exist, and therefore we just don't have the diversity of foods that people are interested in seeing.
For Katherine Sims, the key to creating that diversity lies in the partnerships she's formed with as many farms and organizations as she can. One example is the extensive work Sims has done with agencies that work with seniors. Through these partnerships, seniors can get coupons to use at the farmers market.
Here in the Northeast Kingdom, where I spend a lot of my time, is definitely in need of whatever help they can get.
Jenny Nelson works in agricultural policy and rural development for Senator Bernie Sanders. She worked with Sims to pursue some of the grant money that funded the Lunchbox.
We were more than happy to help her because the senator feels so strongly about local foods, about helping small farms to find markets, and most importantly to have access to local foods for everybody.
Nelson says that the project appealed because of its focus on helping farmers, as well as getting local food to all parts of the community, from schools and hospitals to prisons and senior facilities.
This farmers market goes to quite a few of those senior meal sites, so it's just another avenue where seniors can buy local fresh produce, as well as all the different communities where they set up shop.
I like the carrots. They're good because I love fresh carrots. The onions. I like the small yellow potatoes.
Connie Riley lives right up the street from the market in Newport. She's come just about every week this summer to pick up some produce.
They gave us $5, so I use pretty much all them up. And I like the fact that I can use my food card, and I get extra if I spend over. So it's nice, it's fresh.
Though it's still in its early stages, the Lunchbox is showing promise and getting positive feedback from the communities it serves.
I'm hoping that this mobile truck will be an example that can be used in other parts of the state as well.
Bringing good, healthy local food to our communities, I think, is a no-brainer. It's a win-win. It's good for ourselves, it's good for the health of our environment, it's good for the health of our community. The challenge is that the devil is all in the details. There's lots of innovation that needs to be happening, and it's happening on the ground all over Vermont to help make local food a reality for every Vermonter.
Learning to overcome the challenges of living in a food desert and eating well along the way. In Newport, I'm Rebecca Gollin with Across the Fence.
Thank you, Rebecca. One final note before we go. We invite you to join our growing number of viewers on Facebook. It's an opportunity for you to share your thoughts about our shows. We'll let you know what's airing each day, and we post each program on Facebook shortly after the broadcast. You'll also find links to our website where you can access our program archive and find all the recipes from our monthly In the Kitchen program. That's our program for today. Thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. I'll see you again next time on Across the Fence.